What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Best You podcast. Today's episode is all about creating a healthier, safer home environment. I'm joined by Therese, who also goes by Forton-Barnes, a healthy home advocate who's here to share her expertise on reducing toxic chemicals in our everyday lives. T breaks down the hidden toxins in our household products, from cleaning supplies to fragrances and body care products, and gives us practical, affordable swaps that we can make to lower our exposure to harmful chemicals. Now, as I admit in this episode with T, I am somebody who does not know, or who did not know going into the episode, about all the different types of exposures that we are prone to and privy to, and how much of a damage that they can do, and somebody who didn't really make all of these swaps myself in advance. But now, after having this conversation with T and seeing her knowledge about it and seeing her energy behind it, I am definitely going to be making some of these swaps moving forward. So if you've been wanting to make your home healthier and reduce your risk of illness and disease, you're going to walk away from this episode with a ton of actionable tips. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that follow button on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. Welcome to the Best You podcast. My name is Nick Carrier, and I'm a body optimization coach and creator of the 10-week transformation that has transformed the body and the lives of over 800 people thus far. The 10WT makes it simple for former athletes who struggle to prioritize their health and fitness to regain the confidence in their bodies that they once had. For now, it's time to reduce your toxic load and get closer to your best you with the one and only T. Forton. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Best You podcast. I am super excited to be joined by the one and only T. Forton-Barnes, Therese, or T, which I will be referring to from here on out. I'm super excited to have you on. Now, this is a area of health that I have not explored all that much personally. As somebody who is a fitness trainer, nutrition coach, I've know a lot about fitness, know a lot about nutrition, know a lot about a lot of different areas, but haven't really spent too much time diving down the rabbit hole of toxic chemicals and things we need to make sure that we avoid in our environment. I'm really excited to dive into some of that stuff selfishly for my own education, but also to expose that, or to educate everybody else who's listening as well. But my first kind of just question out of curiosity is, what made you become so interested in toxic chemicals and realize that it was a big passion of yours that you wanted to explore further and help people minimize their exposure to?
So I grew up in the 60s. I am now 61. And I have three older sisters, a younger brother, and my mother was way ahead of her time. And we cleaned with vinegar, baking soda, and we ate all organic food. She worked in the little tiny co-op that we all shop at to this day. It's a lot bigger now, but that's all we knew. And we were not fed fast foods. And I mean, we had to beg for pizza once a week, maybe, when my parents went out to dinner. So we only knew organic, unprocessed foods, Italian and Lebanese, my mother was. So we thought everybody ate the same way we did. We thought everybody lived the same way we did, until friends started coming over, and then people started calling us granola heads. And in the 80s, so I graduated high school in 81. I was teased and laughed at here and there, but I didn't care. And when I went to college, I went to Ithaca College in central New York State, and I had a major in business and a minor in health, and I had a business plan to open up. I wanted to open up this large supermarket so everybody could see all of the products, things that we knew, to offer to other people. You know that store as Whole Foods. That was my business plan. I had nothing to do with Whole Foods, unfortunately, but I came out of college as a party planner. I was planning parties in high school. I was planning parties in grade school, for that matter. And it was an industry just coming around. So I've had a party planning background business for over 38 years, but I never lost the passion to helping people remove toxins from their home and living a healthier life. And that began the start of what I call Green Living Gurus, but of helping people. And cancer patients would come to me, and I would go to their homes and show them where these chemicals are lurking that nobody really knows. And we are sold all these products out there and marketed to all these products in the world. And it's a lot of it's very scary and people don't know. So that is how I got to where I am today. Very, very short story because there's so much more I could include in there, but that's really where it's at. So,
I love it. I love it. And your mission is to reduce people's risk of illnesses and cancer by reducing your toxic load. And like you said, they're in a lot of things that we just would have zero idea. And the other thing is a lot of people, because they're not aware of it, they're unable to pinpoint that is the actual cause of something that is going wrong with their health. So let's kind of first dive into, you identify some obesogenic chemicals that disrupt our body's ability to process fat and disrupt how it stores fat or whatnot. What are some of these obesogenic chemicals, and where are some of those things found?
so I'm not going to get technical because I'm not a scientist and I'm not a doctor. I just will report to here today what I know, what I've studied for my whole entire life, and what is out there. Thankfully, and I'll get back to your question, but thankfully, there's a lot more information out there. I have fought this fight for 40 years to try to get people to realize how many chemicals there are in all these products that we are consuming, that we are using. Obesogens, I'm not going to name one chemical because there's so many, but a lot of them are used in foods, and you wouldn't even know that. And processed foods that are considered the obesogens, messing with your digestive system, messing with your gut health. And you probably know all about gut health. And the way our body has to process these chemicals in the food, it takes a lot out of your system. I mean, yes, our bodies and our organs are incredible what they can do, but unfortunately, you take all the food with these chemicals, processed foods, pesticides, anything you're eating, anything you're drinking, and then add in all the other chemicals that you are potentially putting on your body, breathing in the air, drinking in water, shampooing with whatnot. So there's a whole myriad of them that are out there. Yes. Are there some chemicals out there that add to weight gain? Definitely. And it's just something that people really need to be aware of, that you're feeding your body chemicals that could potentially be really affecting the way that you process food in your system, how you potentially are gaining weight from some of these foods. And
Yeah, and there are chemicals that are basically wreaking havoc on how your cells are able to create energy and burn energy and things of that nature. So I'm excited to dive into a lot of the specific substitutions that people should make, some things that we just need to avoid and whatnot. But I'm curious, you said you grew up in a household where you guys were very health conscious from not having some of these toxins in your house, from eating organic foods and whatnot. Have there been things over the past 30, 40 years that previously didn't have as many toxic chemicals in them, but now have much more toxic chemicals in them? Obviously processed food, but other maybe household items or things that you would traditionally have around your house that didn't used to have these types of chemicals and now do?
yeah, absolutely. What I've seen over the past 40 years is the marketing of products that they want you to buy their whole entire line of cleaning supplies. Let's just take that. Okay. I've cleaned with vinegar and water and baking soda my whole entire life. My goal is to keep as many chemicals out of my house as possible, because I know that more chemicals in my body, it's going to affect my immune system. It's going to affect everything my sleep. It's going to affect my breathing. So the amount of products, the amount of cleaning products per se, that are out there that they want you to believe you need all these products and to kill all these germs. Well, unfortunately, you're killing a lot of really good germs too. And unfortunately, all these chemicals that people are using you're breathing them in, you're potentially touching them, you're potentially licking them, kids, dogs for that matter, babies on the ground. So the amount of products that I see marketed out there is just, and when I go down a supermarket aisle, I mean, first of all, I wish I had a mask. I never wish I had a mask in my entire life, except when I go down that aisle. Those are all the chemicals that are outgassing into that aisle that you are putting in your home. So yes, those are the products that are, they're making a lot of money on these chemicals and they're making a lot of money on the products. But one ingredient I really want to touch on, and I always touch on this quite a bit because it's, even in the past couple of years, it infuriates me that companies are getting away with this, and it's the word fragrance. Fragrance is on a label and it doesn't have to tell you what is in that fragrance. Fragrance is 99% of the time toxic, and it is filled with chemicals that are most likely carcinogens. A lot of them have benzene in them, known carcinogen, formaldehyde, you name it, a myriad of chemicals. And what these companies are doing, it's a fragrance company, very powerful, tied in with the pharmaceutical company, tied in with the chemical company. It's all under one sort of umbrella. They do not want you getting better because they want you to have a need for medicine too, right? So these chemicals that are in fragrance, that are in shampoo, that are in perfume, that are in laundry detergent, that are in cleaning products, and I could go on, lotions, you name it. That industry is so powerful. They are constantly in Washington and pushing for more fragrance, more, the laws are very obscure. And the problem with the word fragrance that is very interesting, and I love history because you have to understand where it came from. Where it came from is Chanel #5 went to the government and said, we have a trade secret. We don't want anybody knowing what we're making our perfume out of, the recipe, right? Well, that is a law from the 1940s to this day, that if you put the word fragrance on a product, you do not have to disclose those ingredients. They know how toxic those ingredients are to people. It is actually a sin to me thinking that these companies are putting these ingredients in their products. You are putting them on your skin. You are shaving with them. You are washing your hair with them. You are potentially sleeping in chemicals all night long because it's in laundry detergent. People think that this smell is a clean smell. It's a filthy, dirty, toxic smell if you are using anything with fragrance. And the past 10 years, it's gotten worse. The industry is out of control right now. They are now selling fragrance to airports. Airports are pushing them through their vents because they want you to make believe and think that this smell will bring you back to the airport. Abercrombie & Fitch, what did you smell every time you went in there? Fragrance. That is a chemical they push through their vents. It gets you to think that you want to go there and shop more. So it's all part of this marketing blitz, and it's horrible, and it's very toxic, and people they don't even know that this could be causing their allergies. They don't even know this could be causing, I hear people, oh, my allergies, and they're sleeping in fragranced sheets, or they're lighting a candle that has fragrance in it, or they have headaches they wake up with in the morning, or if you have a sore throat when you wake up in the morning. These are all symptoms of toxic overload, and especially from fragrance. So that was a long answer to your.
No, I love it. I love it. That is great. So when certain products that have fragrance, does it have to show, it depends, I guess, on the product, like on something like shampoo, does it have to have in the ingredients label fragrance if it has fragrance in it? And if it does it just say fragrance, or what else would it say?
It just says fragrance, and it could have hundreds, dozens, whatever ingredients in there. There's not rose. You think your lotion or your shampoo is rose infused, or it might even say made with, if you see anything made with, you got to really investigate, because made with essential oils, people think, oh, it's made with essential oils, it's rose. It's not. They can put made with essential oils on any product, and it only has to have 2% of essential oils in that product. Everything else can be horrific, toxic chemicals that you do not want to be putting on your body, near your body. So it can say the word fragrance, it can say the word perfume, it can say the word perfume. You will see that. People send me pictures of their products all the time. Are these ingredients safe? And I have to constantly remind them. I don't even have to look at the other ingredients. I see the word fragrance, get rid of it, do not buy it.
So for example, I think like I literally was looking at my shampoo briefly like today in preparation for this, and I know that on my shampoo I have a brand called Native, and on the back of it it says like all the ingredients, and like next to fragrant it says like sea salt, or like the sea salt and something else. Is that still going to be something that's probably harmful?
Yeah, it is definitely fragrance. And Native is considered a semi-safe brand.
That's what I thought I was doing.
I understand their deodorant might be okay, but I'm not 100% sure. I haven't done enough research on that to know, but it's really a greenwashing. They want you to think they put made with sea salt and aloe. I see this all the time, and then you turn it around and you have fragrance in it.
Is there any other benefit to and maybe some of it is the other ingredients in something like shampoo or lotions or stuff like that, but is there any other benefit to fragrance besides the smell? Is there anything like shelf life or anything like that where it helps with? No.
And you want to know the only benefit? All the other chemicals that they're putting in their products, they have to mask those smells of some of those chemicals. Some of these products are just, horrible that people would even clean with, but because of some of the chemicals they're cleaning with, they have to put fragrance in there to kill the smell of the chemicals. That's the only benefit, and I don't think that's a benefit at all in any way. But no. Just kind of on it, joking about it. No, there is absolutely no benefit, and you see a lot of fragrance-free products out there. Finally, that came around, a few years ago, like All Clear or something. It's still, I still question all the other ingredients when it's fragrance free still.
So when it comes to either like what are some brands that you like, or what are some words that you don't want to see or words that you do want to see when it comes to shopping for products like shampoo or lotions or whatnot?
Well, I told you the one essential, made with. Anything made with, they're going to hide something.
Okay.
If it's 100%, that's a different story. Essential oils, you have to be very, very careful with too, because they know that essential oils is a trigger word for healthy. So anytime I see made with essential oils, I question it. Also, essential oils have to be in a dark glass jar. You're not going to find many products out there with dark glass jars. I have a product. You can probably see it over my shoulder. I have a cleaning product made 100% essential oils. And it has to be in a glass jar in order to hold its properties. So they might put 2 drops of rose essential oils in there, and then they say rose shampoo or rose lotion. And they're getting all that smell from chemicals that are made in a chemical lab, that they order. I want rose flavor or fragrance, and then they plop it in their and they may not even know what are the ingredients in that fragrance they are ordering, putting it in their product. It's a it's a scam, and Americans, and not only Americans, everybody is being scammed about this fragrance industry. It has become quite an issue. There are some legislative things going on right now, but that fragrance industry is so powerful. They are going to fight it tooth and nail.
So, it's going to be hard because like everybody loves things that smell good, right? Like we want, if a shampoo, we'd think our hair smells so good. With candles, like, oh, our room smells so good. So are there any other ways to get a good smell out of certain, like, these products without having bad fragrance? Or like if you wanted your house to smell good, for example, but you didn't want to have a candle that emitted chemicals or whatever, what would you do?
Well, a couple things. First of all, our brains, not mine, but people that have this attraction, addiction, whatever, to their smell. I mean, I've had to get help a lot of people pull them away from that smell. Just take 30 days. Do not use your fragrance laundry detergent. Put it in the closet. Actually, put it in a garbage bag in the closet so it doesn't outgas anymore. But it's hard for people to break away from the smell that they think is clean. But once you do, and once you start feeling better, sleeping better, breathing better, realizing that, oh my God, I can't believe I even did that in my house. I cleaned my house, my clothes with that laundry soap. You start to realize that is not a clean smell. A clean smell should be a clean, no fragrance smell.
So we kind of need to like resensitize ourselves to what smelling good is.
Yep, absolutely. But on your note about wanting a house, maybe you do want a scent in your house. Okay. There's a couple things you can do, and it's a lot cheaper and easier and healthier for you. Around this time, I usually take cinnamon sticks and orange peel or oranges, and I boil them on the kitchen sink. And that smell I absolutely love. And it's, you can keep boiling it, adding water. Some people love to put clove in there too. That is one way. Essential oils is absolutely wonderful as well. And a diffuser with essential oils would be also an option to use. Essential oils, you have to be very careful with though, and know what you're doing. There's so many of them out there, and there's so many made over in China that I highly recommend you do not buy. I only buy doTERRA. I know that it's derived from very good plants.
How do you spell that? doTERRA?
doTERRA, DOTERRA. That's on my website, actually, if anybody has any questions. But the other thing, candles. Okay, there are some safe candles out there. I use Fontana candles. That's on my website too, if you want to look it up. But I've actually interviewed her, and their candles are by far the best on the market. They're not cheap, but they use all good ingredients in them. There's an organization that I am close with. It's called madesafe.org. I would definitely look that up. They've been around, I want to say about 10 years now. And what they do is they look into products, and they will give it a made safe seal certification. Fontana candles is one of them on there. Like anything on their website that they recommend, I don't even have to look at the ingredients. I already know their scientists have done it for me. I know that, they're safe. I'll go to the, oh, I need mascara, whatever. I know when I go on there, I'm going to buy mascara that doesn't have these PFAS chemicals in them and all these other chemicals in them. So great resource for anybody is madesafe.org.
That's great. That's great. You started off talking about how you, for 40 years, have cleaned with vinegar, water, and baking soda. And this, I don't know if this is a dumb question or not, but like, so how do you mix all that stuff together? And then what all are you able to clean with that?
Yeah, so I mix it. I actually created my own recipe that I sell, the all-purpose cleaner. That's all I clean with pretty much, besides just plain baking soda in the toilet and the bathroom tub. But you can make your own. You can make your own. There's so many recipes out there, Nick, that you Google all-purpose cleaner. I mean, of course, I would love you to buy my all-purpose cleaner, but I didn't do it for that purpose. I did it because I like that, I want to clean how I want to clean. And then I started selling, giving it to people. And then everybody's like, you have to market it. But you can create your own with water, vinegar, and whatever essential oils you like. Some people like lavender. Some people like more citrus. I use 7 different essential oils that have cleaning properties in them. That's why essential oils are so powerful, that they have these they've been around for hundreds of years in using them in the for cleaning purposes. So it's definitely something, people are like, oh, it's going to cost me more money. No, you're going to save money. You're going to save money in my, eyes. You don't need all these ingredients to clean your house. And your house is, our homes are considered somewhere between 2 and 100 times more polluted than the outdoor air. And this is what the EPA says. This is because of all these products that are being used in people's homes. And then also because people's homes are now, so many of them are air sealed tight, right? You got to keep the air in, I'm the opposite. I'm in Buffalo, New York. We open windows. You want that fresh air. I want circulation. These are things that I test people's air. I see what's in people's homes, and they're toxic. And it shows me the level of the VOCs that are floating around their home that you can't see. And I help them see that way. Like, you want all that reduced. You want to keep the most amount of toxic chemicals out of your body that you have control over. You walk outside your house, you have no control. In your house, you have control. And you want to keep that toxic load down as much as possible in your home.
Yeah, like you said, everybody is going to experience some level of toxic load. It's just a matter of, like, your body is going to be able to, get rid of some of it. But the more and more over time that you put on your body, the more it's going to have to deal with it. And that's going to lead into negative health outcomes, negative health ramifications and stuff like that. You mentioned that you test the airs of people's homes and see the VOCs. I'm not sure what VOCs stands for yet, and I'll ask you, but how can you actually test the air of your own home? If somebody's like, well, I want to test the air of my home and see how many chemicals I got in there.
Yeah, I experimented with many different indoor air quality monitors, there's a lot out there. I think I even have some on my website in my store, but VOCs are volatile organic compounds. And we all have VOCs in our homes. They're floating around from, you bring home a new pair of sneakers, and that smell when you open up those are VOCs outgassing.
God, it smells so good.
The plastic that the shower curtain that you put in your, potentially you're buying a new shower, those are all chemicals outgassing in your home. Those are VOCs. And they're very harmful. Many of them are carcinogens that you do not want to breathe in. So there's so many different cleaning products are many VOCs. So you want to control that as much as possible.
So there's different indoor air quality tests that you can buy from different people or different companies.
I have an indoor air quality monitor that I keep on my desk that just shows me, right? That's what I take to people's homes. I have a few different brands. I have one that I can pull up on my phone that will show me if there's it'll alert me if there's anything out of the ordinary. You're not going to find many chemicals in my house, so I'm not going to get alerted too much.
Yeah. So is that what it does? Does it give you like a number of like how much you load, or does it just alert you? And then like, is there a particular threshold where you're like, I know you probably have no VOCs in your house, but is there a particular like threshold that people need to be concerned about, or?
Yeah, most of them give you that. It'll give you like, red is bad, green is okay, yellow is good, something like that. Most of them will give you those levels that you want to pay attention to. Yeah. And I'm a big proponent of indoor air purifiers too. So I even go on, I have an air purifier right here. I have an air purifier in our bedroom. At all times they're on. So I'm very, I'm over the top, Nick, but I want it this way. I have, we sleep at night. I have a lot of energy. I feel like I'm still in my 30s. I sometimes act like I'm still in my 30s. Yeah. So everyone's like, you have so much energy. I'm like, I really contribute that to the least amount of toxins that I'm putting in my body, so my organs don't have to work overtime. Your
Yeah.
organs at night specifically have to detox your body. I hear from so many people that can't sleep. You're up at night. Your body is working overtime. Our bodies are so toxic, not all of our bodies, I shouldn't say that, but toxic overload, that these are things that will affect your sleep, your energy level, your aging, and that it's all contributes to what you're putting inside your body. Are you putting good gas in, or are you putting bad gas in?
Yeah.
And I want good gas.
There we could go probably a whole separate podcast episode on food and on like cooking products and stuff like that, but I do want to touch on both of them just briefly, but for the sake of time we'll try to keep it as relatively quick as we can. When it comes to food and trying to minimize our exposure to toxic chemicals in our foods, obviously we want to try to like minimize our pesticide exposure, and so certain things are really important to buy organic. Two-part kind of question from a food perspective is, what foods are most important to get organic? And then are there any other things that we should be aware of when it comes to making our food purchases?
Yes. Okay. So what foods are important to buy organic besides all foods? Okay. I, of course, your fruits and vegetables. It's hard to wash off any pesticides or herbicides, especially from your berries, that those pesticides are soaked into those fruits. Banana, okay, you peeling off the banana, not as toxic. There's a hard shell on an apple. Although they are also, if they're using pesticides, they're also using pesticides in the ground. So, if it's in the ground, going up to the tree, going into the apples, that's why I'm 100% organic here. I mean, do I ever buy anything non-organic? Once in a while. But some people are like, oh, it's so expensive. Well, we are in this house, we are very conscious of that. And we watch everything we buy. We never, some people throw away food, which makes me insane. But all the scrappings of all of our organic vegetables, we put in the freezer. I pull it out. I just did it this weekend. I make a broth out of it. We drink that during the day or every morning. Like it's like, it's not V8, but you know what I mean? It's a vegetable broth. And we use it so we get the most out of all the products that we use. Organic chickens, we boil it. Anyways, so those are fruits and vegetables are really important. Also, dairy is very important too, to be careful with that, because so many of the dairy products, if they're not organic, you are drinking, eating potentially many different pesticides and herbicides that end up in those products. And that scares me a little bit, especially how cows are treated, what they're treated with, antibiotics, you name it. So I've been to farms before that I've seen how both work. And if you go to an organic farm and you go to a non-organic farm, non-organic farm, the farmers have masks on. It smells. I run, fast out of there. Not that I'm there I'm just, especially in California, I went to like the strawberry farm where they're spraying. I'm like, I will never not eat a non-organic strawberry the rest of my life. But you go to an organic farm and you see the care that they put into making sure that we are eating foods that don't have all these chemicals in them. It's quite fascinating how they treat the bugs instead of spraying. It takes more time and work, which is why organic is more expensive. But those are some things and farmers markets. I mean, farmers markets are fabulous. Again, I'm in Buffalo, so I get a farmers market from April to right now. It just closed, but you do the best you can. Trader Joe's, a lot of people go to. A lot of people go to Aldi here. and buy some organic foods. And it's hard. I mean, I'm sure it's hard for people and on low budgets, but it's in the long run, to me, I don't want to pay hospital bills or medical bills. I'd rather pay upfront and know that I'm eating good food.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. From the cookware perspective, what are some things that we need to be aware of? What are words that are on packages that we definitely need to avoid? Words are on packages that signify like, okay, this is going to be a little bit safer from a cookware perspective.
Yeah, cookware, stainless steel or iron pans, the Lodge iron pans are the only two that we use in this house. The nonstick cookware is something that I'd be very careful of. I mean, I've gone in so many people's homes and they're scratched. If they're scratched, you are cooking chemicals into your food. So many people don't use wood when they use nonstick cookware, or the nonstick cookware also can wear out fast. So there are so many chemicals in that nonstick cookware that people are using that, instead of scrubbing their pan, they don't want to scrub their pan. It's all about making it, easier for us. But unfortunately, the amount of chemicals that you are exposing yourself to, not only cooking that you're breathing in that are outgassing in your kitchen, but it's also potentially getting into your food as well. So on that note, everyone asked me this, is there any safe nonstick cookware? The only one that I can see out there is Green Pan, but with Green Pan, my understanding is they wear out after about a year. So I'm all about the old fashioned stainless steel. When you clean your pan, it doesn't have to be perfect. If you came here and saw our pans, I don't want a stainless steel pan to look like I just bought it from the store. If you go into a kitchen in a nice restaurant, you're going to see these pans that look used, right? So they make you believe that you've got to have a perfect pan that you can pull out that doesn't have any residue of egg or bacon or cheese on it, whatever. So my pans are all clean. And they're very safe. But those nonstick cookware, that's one of the first things that I go when I go into somebody's kitchen is I look there, because you're using them all the time. And if it has any scratches in it, really toxic, and throw it away.
Yeah. Well, that's actually good to know. Like from a stainless steel perspective, when you clean it, it doesn't have to necessarily look like it's brand new and spot clean. So that's definitely good to know. I think last thing to ask about is, I guess, like combination of plastics to avoid, or like substitutions, and then like what we're drinking out of. Like obviously like plastic water bottles are known to, you drink some microplastics and you get that into your system. I guess riff on the topic of plastics and things to avoid or things to switch.
Yes, absolutely. So thankfully, plastic has become a big talking point across the world, for that matter. It's polluting our oceans. It's polluting our landfills, which is leaching into our waterways, these plastics, which are chemicals. It's all chemicals. Plastic is made from chemicals, period. So in your house, years ago, store your food in plastic. Never store you have options. Glass containers or stainless steel containers are the best. And I buy glass that says BPA free. You can get like a big box of glass containers for $30 maybe. It's not crazy expensive. So a lot of people microwave, and you never want to microwave in plastic. You never want to store anything in plastic, period. If I have to use plastic here or there, maybe for dry cereal or something like that, you don't want cooked food specifically, touching the plastic. And especially if it's acidic food, like, or hot food. You never want hot food, because you're basically going to release the chemicals from that plastic, and it's going to be in your food. Especially if you ever have plastic and you put tomato sauce or spaghetti in there, and you eat the spaghetti and then you see the plastic, doesn't get clean because it's all red from the tomato sauce.
Yeah.
That's not a good sign. That is a sign that shows you how these plastics are getting into your food. And there's all different types of plastic too, but we won't go there. Just get rid of your plastics or use it sparingly. There's great stainless steel containers out there and glass containers.
Love it. I love it. Well, this has been very insightful on a lot of different fronts, and I might need to go throw some stuff away and change how I clean and change how I do some things. But no, especially the things that are like, you're doing all the time, you're cooking with all the time, you're cleaning with all the time, like definitely important to make some of those switches. And last thing I think I might ask you is, what do you say to people who are skeptics? Like, I feel like there's probably a lot of people, and probably like how I maybe used to be, of like, it's not that big a deal. It's not gonna, and it's one of those things that's hard because it's not necessarily that something bad is going to happen immediately. It's just like the compound usage of these things will provide or lead to negative health outcomes, and then it's because it's so far down the road, it's impossible to pinpoint that it was because of you microwaving your food in plastics all these years. So like, how do we bridge the gap between somebody who is skeptical and because of the sheer fact that the cause and effect relationship is so distant, if you will?
Yeah, no, that I come across that all the time. Now there's over 80,000 chemicals on the market. The US has disallowed 11. The European Union is totally different. They've disallowed over 1,100. They don't even allow some of our chemicals over into Europe. The United States does not have good laws when it comes to chemicals. And what people say to me all the time, well, why would it be on the market if it weren't safe? The problem is a woman is using various products on her body all day long. On average, this is not eating even, this 168 chemicals a day. Now, if she was just using shampoo and she had to, her liver and all of her other organs had to fight those chemicals, okay, I get it. But the problem is it's the cumulative effect. And men, for that matter, 112 chemicals on average using on your body a day. Think about that and look at your lotion and look at what you're putting on your skin. Think about what you're putting on your face lotion, makeup, shaving cream. Those chemicals are all getting into your system. And then you're eating all these chemicals. So a lot of people will say to me, well, I don't understand, what you have to understand the whole big picture of what's going into your body, on your body. It's not just, the one product. And you have to read your labels. You have to read them. I read labels all the time. I don't have to read them so much anymore because I know that, certain products are, what I can use. And on that note, not all chemicals are toxic. Not all chemicals are going to cause cancer. Cancer is on the rise. I have never in my life seen so many people with cancer from children on up. And the chemicals are a big attribute to that. So that is what I want to avoid in my life. I want to avoid illness. I want to avoid cancer. And by doing that, I'm avoiding chemicals. And I know that that's something hard for people to stomach, but once you get into the rhythm of looking at your labels and thinking, oh my God, I don't want to put parabens on my skin anymore. They are causing, other ones that are causing cancer, potentially cancer. And the other big thing that we didn't touch on, I could talk about this all day too, are endocrine disruptors. There's these chemicals that are wreaking havoc on our endocrine system. So reproductive system, women are having problems having babies. Men are having problems with their sperm, a huge problem with sperm count and babies and the future. And if something doesn't change, and there's been books and books written about this and amazing research and articles that we have to get rid of these chemicals and can't get rid of them, but change how many are out there, because there's going to be a problem, very serious problem with our population because of this. and what it's doing to babies, to humans, to women and men. And these chemicals, I mean, are in endocrine disruptors, are in all of the products that you use, everybody else uses, and they mimic hormones. Girls are having their period and like crazy 9 years old. I'm like, because these chemicals are telling them that you have all these hormones, you should have your period. So these are just little basic things that, I try to get people to pay attention to, and maybe people listening soon, you'll read an article or hear something on the news like, oh my God, that's what she was talking about. So, but the good thing is there are substitutes for everything.
Yeah.
And the number one thing I tell people to do is your laundry detergent. And the only ones that I recommend are two. Molly Suds, you can buy it on Amazon. Great story about the mother started it. Her daughter's name was Molly. It was a stillbirth, long story, but she attributed it to chemicals. Love it. And then Meloria. It's not, that's on Amazon too. Meliora. And seventh generation is not terrible, because seventh generation you can find in Target and many other stores too, but fragrance free, even with seventh generation. Seventh generation was bought out by a big company out of, I forgot where, but they're still okay. So
that's awesome. That's great to know. And I've 100% heard the endocrine disruptors and all those chemicals, because like you said, the age at which females are having their first period is getting younger and younger and younger and younger. And that's absolutely crazy. And like you said, like, men are having more and more problems with their testosterone levels, and fertility is crazy on the rise. And so that is definitely something that is being talked about, and hopefully people will continue to take these things more seriously and really trust and have faith that even though you're maybe not having negative side effects now, like, things will manifest themselves at some point down the road if you don't take some of this stuff seriously. So this has been absolutely awesome today, T. I really appreciate your time. You guys need to make sure you go to her website, thegreenlivinggurus.com, and also follow her on Instagram at Green Living Gurus. She's already talked about a lot of different products that I know I'm going to go check out and purchase myself, that she probably has on her website and whatnot. Is there any other good place that people should go learn more about you and learn more about all this stuff?
Well, you get my website, and that's fine. One other website, I try to get people that are just starting out and just switching into new products, better products. There's two, actually. Environmental Working Group, EWG.com. They've been around for decades, and they have a lot of really good information on there. You also can plug in your zip code and see what kind of chemicals are in your water. I could talk an hour about water and how toxic our water here is in US. But they're good. I already told you about madesafe.org, but also Yuka, YUKA. It's an app you put on your phone. When you're out there shopping, you can scan the product that you're buying, and it will tell you what the chemical, if they're good or bad. Yeah. And those are some handy things to have with you, and start to pay attention to everything. Don't throw everything away. Just start to replace things. And if you want to throw everything away, I'd be more than happy to come to your house and help you. It's my favorite thing to do. But it's overwhelming for people, and I don't want people to get overwhelmed. It's about taking steps and taking baby steps, and start with your laundry detergent maybe, and then maybe go to your pans, and slowly do that. And you will see a big change. I think you will see a big change. I've never had anybody come back to me and say, I'm going back to my old laundry detergent. I can't take it. So dryer sheets, throw those out immediately. So toxic. So and there's substitutes for everything out there that they make you believe that you need these chemicals to clean with. There are better products out there that you do not need those toxic products in your life anymore.
That's amazing. Well, this has been super insightful. And like she said, everybody just gradually, slowly start to replace things, because there are replacements for just about everything. If you do not write some of that stuff down, I'd recommend go back, write down some of those products, write down some of the things that you need to replace. Right now, I'm sure you know at least 1, 2, 3, 4 things off the top of your mind that you're like, man, I could probably replace that relatively easily right now. So make sure you do so. Also, if you're not following the podcast yet or subscribing, make sure you hit that follow button on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button down below. But more than anything, share this episode with friends and family members who have probably no idea about some of this stuff, and open their eyes a little bit to maybe some of the changes that they can make in their life to support their own health moving forward. But T, that's all we got today. Thanks so much for your time. This has been absolutely amazing. Y'all shared the episode, but that's all we got.
My pleasure.
What an enlightening episode from T. I mean, there are so many things now that I want to go do, so many swaps that I want to make. I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do. First, I'm a big candle guy, and so I think I'm going to go buy some candles off of Fontana Candles. I actually just went online literally right before recording this, and they had 15% off your first order, and I'm going to get the holiday bundle, and I'm super excited about it. But T provided so much valuable information on reducing our toxic load and creating a healthier home environment through simple, practical changes. Her tips are an incredible starting point for anyone looking to decrease their exposure to harmful chemicals and improve their well-being. And as we talked about in this episode, make it slowly but surely. But before we wrap up, don't forget to follow the show on the Apple Podcast app and on Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button down below. If you follow and you subscribe, that ensures that you get notifications about all of these life-changing and life-transformative episodes that are coming in the pipeline. Here are my 3 biggest takeaways from today's episode. Understand that there are hidden toxins in our everyday products, whether it's cleaning supplies, to body care, to cookware, to our plastics. There's often hidden chemicals that are impacting our health in bigger ways than we could ever understand. Number 2, make simple swaps. Replace the candles that you get. Replace your cookware with things like stainless steel or iron pans. Replace plasticware for glassware, and make sure that you are reducing or eliminating the fragrances that are in your products by eliminating dryer sheets and getting healthier laundry detergent. And then third and finally, build a healthier home gradually. She gave so many different things that you could swap out. Aim to do one. Aim to move away from this episode and decide on one thing, whether that's laundry detergent, your cookware, your candles, your shampoo, your lotions. Aim to change one. And maybe you do one time a month. And then gradually, slowly but surely, you're going to reduce your toxic load and reduce your toxic exposure. If you can do these things, it will make a positive impact on your health. It will allow you to get closer to the healthiest version of yourself, and therefore, it will allow you to get closer and closer to your best